Another reason why I don't believe Gypsy Rose Blanchard is still pregnant is because she's recently lost a massive amount of weight. What normally happens when you have a baby and you start breastfeeding? Listen, I know y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I would rather be in a straitjacket than believe this. I'm sorry. You can't sell me on this. You are not going to be able to sell me on this story. Just put me in a straitjacket. I'd rather be labeled as insane than believe this story. My heart just won't let me believe this. It won't. My brain tells me you can't believe this at all. My instincts tell me that. But my gut tells me they had a baby shower. Why are you being a fool? But my brain is like, just have him put you in a straitjacket so you can say you was right.
The drama surrounding Gypsy Rose just keeps escalating, and the internet is in overdrive trying to piece it all together. Gypsy's pregnancy has sparked a whirlwind of confusion and debate, with new questions popping up every time she's seen in public. Based on her own timeline, she's supposedly about 8 months along, with a due date set for January, just weeks away. She's even announced plans to name her daughter Aurora, as if to silence the skeptics. But let's be honest, nothing about this pregnancy adds up. From her mysteriously fluctuating belly, one day prominent and round, the next day almost non-existent, to her awkward attempts to showcase it, people are seriously questioning whether there's any truth to her claims. The internet has erupted with theories, with some accusing her of forgetting to wear a prosthetic bump while out and about. That's right, there are whispers that Gypsy's baby bump might be nothing more than a pillow or some clever prop. It's a mystery that has everyone watching her every move.
People are worried about Gypsy's appearance after her glam shoot for her maternity photo. They're stating that she appears very skinny, and they're a little worried about, mainly in regards to her baby, they're worried. Now, initially, when Gypsy had gotten out of prison, it made sense that she had tacked on some weight. I did read that eating a lot of ramen noodles, eating a lot of certain carbs on there, it's just not the same. So, of course, you're going to gain a lot of carbs while you're in prison. And I guess that's why a lot of prisoners work out. However, after 6 months, you do tend to drop the weight, according to sources, so that you're not eating as many of those carbs that they feed you. And Gypsy had lost a lot of that weight. However, a lot of people are coming out and stating that they are concerned, especially her fans. Now, some women during their pregnancy experience HG. However, according to sources, Gypsy hasn't experienced any of these symptoms. Some of the weight loss could be to stress-related symptoms. However, people think it's strange that her appearance has gone to a complete 180, especially after almost being ready to pop in January.
The buzz around Gypsy's pregnancy is anything but random. This drama has been brewing since she first announced the news back in July. From disappearing baby bumps to reappearing ones, the timeline has been downright puzzling. What's adding fuel to the fire? Gypsy's radio silence on the matter? She hasn't made any serious moves to address the rumors, leaving fans and skeptics alike with plenty of room to theorize. Sure, pregnancy journeys vary for everyone. That's a fact. But this situation has people raising their eyebrows for all the wrong reasons.
None of anything else mattered. The drama on social media, the feud between creator and me and all of that drama just all faded. It didn't matter anymore. All that matters is making sure that I'm healthy, the baby's healthy, my relationship with Ken is healthy, and we are moving forward in a positive way. It's an amazing feeling when your whole world shifts. And suddenly it's not about you. It's not about anything other than the tiny little life that's inside you that you are now in charge of protecting. And that little tiny life is a baby, a little tiny human that's yours, and that you have to make sure that you protect, you love, you take care of, and all of the things that I wished I could have had.
Pregnancy can look different for every woman. Some carry high, others low, and some barely show until later stages, while others are noticeably pregnant early on. But here's the thing. No matter how unique each bump is, most pregnancies follow a general pattern of progression. That's why Gypsy's so-called pregnancy has become such a bizarre spectacle. Her belly seems to defy all logic. It's not just unusual, it's downright puzzling. One moment, it's overly prominent, almost cartoonishly exaggerated, like she's wearing an attachment. The next, it's mysteriously flat, vanishing into thin air as if it was never there. And let's talk about how she seems to push her bump out during public appearances, almost like she's staging the whole thing. It's giving performance, not pregnancy. Case in point, her recent appearance at the court hearing for her divorce from Ryan. She showed up in a navy blue mandarin collar blouse tucked into oversized trousers with a skinny belt. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. The belt wasn't even in the loops. It was fastened under her so-called baby bump, clearly meant to draw attention. But here's the kicker. For someone claiming to be 8 months pregnant, the bump was barely noticeable. Then, things got even weirder. When Gypsy left the courtroom, her bump seemed to vanish completely. The belt, which had been fastened beneath her supposed bump, had mysteriously moved higher up, as though she was trying to mask the disappearance. It was almost like she walked into court pregnant and walked out not. Naturally, this left everyone scratching their heads. Was the belt there to hold a prosthetic belly in place? Could this be part of some elaborate scheme? Speculation is running wild. Some think she ditched a fake belly mid-hearing for comfort. Others wonder if the whole thing is one big hoax. Whatever's happening, this courtroom appearance only added fuel to the fire, making Gypsy's story even harder to believe for skeptics.
This is Amish. And that looks like an AI version of her. Like, what is happening right now? Look at Christy looking like the big bad stepmom. And Gypsy wearing dishwasher shoes. Outside of the courtroom yesterday, and then you're gonna show us a fake picture of you that we could clearly see is edited? Like, look at your jawline, girl. Stop trying to play with us. What is happening? Seriously. What is happening?
During her recent interview on WL News, Gypsy rocked a snug top that highlighted her baby bump, or did it? The way she was sitting didn't exactly scream 8 months pregnant, and viewers flooded social media with claims that it looked more like she had a pillow under her shirt. Now, I'm not saying anything for sure, but when a pregnancy doesn't quite look natural, people are bound to start asking questions. This isn't even the first time Gypsy's bump has raised eyebrows. At her baby shower, the inconsistencies were impossible to ignore. In some photos, her bump was front and center, while in others, it was barely noticeable. For example, a picture she took with a friend showed a full, rounded belly, but the one she snapped with Chef Rusty, practically flat. Clothing can explain minor differences, sure, but the contrast here was so extreme it had people talking. And then there was Thanksgiving. Gypsy and her boyfriend Ken spent the holiday in Florida with his family, and let's just say the photos didn't help her case. In one shot, she posed with one leg out and her belly pushed forward as if she were trying to make it look bigger. She wore a loosely tied sweater, but even with that, the bump just didn't seem convincing. It looked more like she was consciously emphasizing it, which is not something a natural pregnant belly usually needs. Adding fuel to the fire was a candid photo a fan snapped of Gypsy in public. She looked tired, drained, and notably not pregnant at all. This wasn't a posed, curated picture where she could tweak her angles or adjust her belly. It was a raw, unfiltered moment. And honestly, her bump was nowhere to be seen.
Another reason why I don't believe Gypsy Rose Blanchard is still pregnant is because she's recently lost a massive amount of weight. What normally happens when you have a baby and you start breastfeeding? Listen, I know y'all are gonna think I'm crazy, but I would rather be in a straitjacket than believe this. I'm sorry. You can't sell me on this. You are not going to be able to sell me in on this story. Just put me in a straitjacket. I'd rather be labeled as insane than believe this story.
Remember back at Kane's birthday when she claimed to be 24 weeks along? Her bump was noticeably bigger then than it seems now, as her due date inches closer. Make it make sense. Is this pregnancy going backward? People have doubted her since day one, and honestly, she hasn't helped her case. Let's not forget that Instagram story from September. She showed off her bump with the caption, "The haters will say this is AI." At the time, she claimed to be 23 weeks pregnant, but even then critics called it staged, and the defensive tone of her caption only fueled suspicions. Now, with the clock ticking and January just around the corner, the pressure is at an all-time high. Fans and skeptics alike want answers, real ones. Why hasn't Gypsy addressed the inconsistencies in her timeline? Where's the ultrasound? A medical update? Something to silence the noise? She was quick to take a paternity test to prove the father's identity, so why not be transparent here? Instead, her decision to stay silent feels less like a plea for privacy and more like an attempt to dodge the growing scrutiny. This silence is doing nothing but adding fuel to the fire. If she's really pregnant, she'll have the last laugh when her baby arrives. But if she's not, the fallout will be huge. Some even speculate that Gypsy might use her newfound privacy as a way to quietly exit the public eye and avoid facing tough questions altogether. So, what do you think? Is Gypsy's pregnancy real? Or are we watching an elaborate hoax unravel? Will she finally confront the rumors head-on? Or will she vanish just as the truth is about to come out? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for the latest on this wild saga. Stay tuned, this story isn't over yet.